Clifford Brown is known among jazz musicians as one of the best trumpet players and improvisers ever to play. His technical ability and musical instinct were impeccable, and he is looked at as someone who could have been the best of all time. I say could have because, unfortunately, he died in a car accident at the age of 25, only 6 years into his professional career. It is seen as one of the greatest tragedies and missed opportunities in the genre. How good would he have become if only he'd lived? Would he keep on growing and become the best of all time? Would he fall off into the later years after an early peak? We'll never know. Before I go any further, I should mention that this video will contain spoilers for Lloyd Collins' Saga campaign on Jarl DM, so stay away if you haven't seen Session 9 yet. My character in Saga, Phelim, counts as one of the most difficult characters to play I've ever had in a game. Towards the beginning of the campaign, he became a Carl, or a ruler of a small region, and as a result, he had complete control over all decisions made in the campaign, for better or worse. His Carldom was on the brink of war with a much more powerful and notorious man than himself, and there was no way for us to fight him alone. So Phelim and the party set out to earn fame, money, and help, with the plan to return to the Carldom with a force in tow and victory ahead. Despite the challenges, Phelim was also one of the most rewarding characters to play. Seeing how his choices shaped the party, the crew they led, and the world at large was fascinating, especially given how his leadership style was very different compared to the norms of Iskloft. Most leaders ruled as tyrants, meeting any opposition and question with violence and force, ruling their people with an iron fist and crushing every enemy brutally underfoot. But Phelim wasn't like that. He was a man of mercy before punishment, kindness and fairness before power. It became somewhat of an experiment and topic of conversation between us as players. Could such a leadership style really work? If it did, what impact would it have on the culture, if any? We all eagerly awaited the future of the game to see what might happen. After a long journey of built-up wealth and men, it was time to head back and see where this might go. Nearly home to start the war the whole game had led up to, we encountered a ship that belonged to an enemy force, and, eager to gain any advantage we could, Phelim ordered an attack. Ships clashed and initiatives were rolled, and in the very first turn of combat, one of the enemies charged straight for Phelim and rolled 2 critical hits, which are especially nasty in Iskloft. Phelim was killed outright. Before he even took a single turn of combat, with no heroic fanfare or epic final moment. His death was sudden and instant, all decreed by the fortune of the dice. It would have been easy for Lloyd to find some way to change the rules or to allow some interruption that might have saved Phelim, and it would have been easy for me to get upset and throw a fit about how terrible it was to die like that, so close to closure in the game. But neither of us did. We followed the dice and let the world tell the story, and I honestly think that everything is better for it. Often in role-playing games, we view character death, especially sudden and inglorious death, as a story stopped halfway through, as if we deserve a real ending to the character that the death has robbed us of. But I don't think that's really fair. In fact, some of the most powerful and memorable moments I've ever had in role-playing games have been exploring grief, funerals for family or friends or other characters, death. They may not be fun moments, at least using fun in the conventional sense, but they are real moments, with real emotion. And even if it's negative emotion, one of my favorite things about role-playing games are how they give us an ability to explore deep and complicated feelings in a safe way. A sudden death isn't cutting short a story, it is the story. And if embraced properly by the GM, the player, and the rest of the party, it can be one of the deepest and most complex and most rewarding moments of the game. Now, there's nothing wrong with just playing for fun in the conventional sense or escaping negative emotion with a casual, joke-filled jaunt through fantasy. But for me, the real and powerful moments are what makes this hobby worthwhile and what keeps me coming back for more every time. We'll never know how good Clifford Brown could have been, and we'll never know if Phelim's kindness could have changed how leadership was viewed in Iskloft. But I do know that no matter how much his death stung in the moment, the world is better and deeper for it, and when I finally do earn victory in Iskloft or anywhere else, it will be because I've earned it, and it will be all the sweeter for having fought for it, failed, risen again, and won. Thanks for listening.